There are no trees here, no morning, no evening, no night, no darkness to help you sleep, no old friends to call on the phone, no family to cheer you up, nothing. Nothing but bright lights in the morning and bright lights at noon and bright lights at midnight. Nothing but freezing cold and miles of ice, migrating penguins and fellow freezing men. But if you have something to say, something really important the world needs to hear, something that's a matter of life and death, you'd go to hell and back to make sure your voice is heard. And yes, this is hell. A cold, cold hell made of ice and burning coal. In January 2020, leaving the warm company of family and friends in Abuja, the pleasure of steaming hot Nigerian delicacies and colorful Nigerian celebrities, Prince Ned Nwoko, Nigerian-born international lawyer, philanthropist, and entrepreneur, went on an expedition to the unearthly terrain of Antarctica, also known as the White Desert, to create awareness and launch a final onslaught against malaria in Africa. With over 229 million cases of malaria worldwide in 2019 alone, and with Africa carrying 94% of both the cases of infection and deaths, the 400,000 malaria deaths every year, Prince Ned Nwoko believes that Africans ought to be in the driving seat in the quest for the permanent solution to the age-long problem. From Abuja, Nigeria to Cape Town, South Africa. From Cape Town to an 8-hour flight on Whichway Bay's Antarctica in company of other explorers. From Whichway Base, they continued their journey to South Pole with a Basler aircraft modified to land on glaciers and snow. On their way to the South Pole after flying for 5 hours, they refueled at Fuel Depot 83 at an extremely cold temperature of minus 25 degrees centigrade.
We're at Fuel Depot 83 on our way to South Pole. Wow. We've just flown on the Basler aircraft for just over 5 hours from Whichway Base. The place is cold. Minus 25 degrees centigrade. Minus 25. I wonder what I'm doing here. But these guys, they stay here for at least 2 months of the year just to manage this fuel depot for this particular aircraft that brings people here during summer. No darkness whatsoever. I mean, there's a sun. You can see the sun, but there's no effect. The cold here, the snow, everything is just so different. No human beings, no trees, no animals, nothing.
Prince Nwoko, what do you think of our accommodation here in our VIP luxury camp?
Look, I'm just going to try to sleep.
Okay.
This is crazy. You know, where we are is in the middle of nowhere. Literally in the middle of nowhere.
You're doing a great job for Nigeria here. This will certainly get malaria eradication noticed.
Oh.
Sometimes you have to do things to get noticed.
Well, if it's a sacrifice, yeah.
Yeah. And you should be, if all things go right, weather's okay, you should be the first Nigerian to the South Pole tomorrow.
It's terribly cold here, but I'm coping.
Yep, this is not what you come across naturally in Nigeria, so you're adapting very well.
People might be wondering what is underneath. What is underneath? What is on the floor?
We're on the Antarctic plateau at the moment,
Yes.
which there's over 6,000 feet of ice below us before we hit a continent. Years of ice accumulation below us. I'll just go outside and show some of the ice. This is the camp we're at. Prince Nwoko is in this tent.
The coldest temperature of most air conditioning systems are between 21 degrees to 16 degrees. Most Chester deep freezers are between 0 to minus 18 degrees. Cold temperatures in Antarctica is between minus 4 degrees to minus 28 degrees. Life here is like living in a very cold Chester freezer. The hottest day in history in Antarctica was 20 degrees centigrade, but most people in Nigeria complain when the air conditioner has been on at 21 degrees centigrade. Finally, our adventurers arrive at the famous South Pole, also known as the geographical South Pole. This is one of the 2 points where the Earth's axis of rotation intersects its surface. It is the southernmost point of the surface of the Earth, and here Prince Ned Nwoko makes history for Nigeria and Africa by mounting the Nigerian flag, making Nigeria the 13th country to hoist the flag there, announcing to the world that Africa is ready to solve an African problem. Africa is ready to solve the malaria problem. Prince Ned Nwoko becomes the first black African to visit Antarctica, as the Nigerian flag now stands proudly among 12 others. The flag will remain there, but the Nigerian government must take steps to ratify the Antarctica Treaty of 1961.
This is it. This is the South Pole. We are here eventually, and it's Nigeria's flag here at this point. This is the South Pole, the famous South Pole. By the way, there are 12 countries. Nigeria is the 13th country to hoist the flag here. So I'm very proud.
The original 12 countries that signed the treaty were the United States of America, the United Kingdom, Japan, Australia, Belgium, France, Chile, Argentina, New Zealand, Norway, South Africa, and the Soviet Union. After making history, our explorers walked through the white desert, exploring ice, snow, and glaciers. They climbed ice mountains, tying ropes among each other for safety. It is believed that the ice here dates from 65 million years ago, when there were still dinosaurs roaming the earth. Having made history as the first black African to visit Antarctica and announced to the world that the end of the African malaria scourge begins now, Prince Ned Nwoko returned to Cape Town, South Africa, then Abuja, Nigeria, and was welcomed and celebrated for putting Nigeria, and indeed Africa, on the global map. As the global spotlight on the historic journey intensified, Prince Ned Nwoko, through the Prince Ned Nwoko Foundation, launched the Malaria Eradication Project in Africa with a focus on the following critical areas: research for safe malaria vaccine and implementation of the RTSS vaccine in Nigeria, sanitation that includes cleaning the entire environment in Nigeria, waste management and establishment of recycling plants in every local government area in Nigeria, total fumigation of the length and breadth of the country.
I also believe that apart from the quest for vaccines, there is need for a general cleanup of the continent, starting with Nigeria. It is not impossible to clean up our environment. We must collectively come together and fumigate the entire nation or the entire continent. It is something that can be done with the help of appropriate authorities, with the support of environmental experts, with the support of the people. We just need to clean the environment wherever we are, in our compounds, in our villages, in our towns, in our cities. Time has come for all of us to come together and create an environment that is mosquito-free. Malaria is the biggest killer in Africa. Why? The biggest killer in this day and age? We can find a solution. Let's just work together. Work with the United Nations, WHO, UNICEF, UNESCO, all the agencies that have common interest on health.
One day, not too long from now, you'll tell the story of how you can't remember when you last had malaria, how you can't remember when anyone last had malaria in Nigeria and in Africa. And on that day, we'll all remember the journey to the White Desert to let the world know that Africa had decided to end an African problem by African means. One day, we'll all remember Prince Ned Nwoko as the man who eradicated malaria in Africa.